Welcome to the Government News Brief for Monday, November 28, 2016. In the news, Finance Minister presents 2017 budget to Parliament with new plans to improve the lives of Guyanese. Education Ministry completes diagnostic assessment of hinterland students for improved performance in mathematics at the primary level, and Region 8 will benefit from improved health services in 2017. Stay tuned for these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta Lafleur, and now for the details. The value of the budget for 2017 is $250 billion. The health sector will be enhanced with $31.2 billion, while $29.1 billion will go towards restoring the public's confidence in the security sector. $20.6 billion has been allocated to improve drainage and irrigation systems, $2.5 billion for the construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of hinterland roads and bridges, and $13 billion for interventions that will improve the livelihood of the hinterland communities. Education was allocated $43.1 billion, and agriculture got $20.6 billion, with $9 billion for the Guyana Sugar Corporation, GuySuCo. In 2017, the focus is to build a diversified green economy that will drive the prioritization of the expenditure allocations, guide the choices for revenue measures, and shape the context and determine the result of government's programs. In concluding his budget presentation, the Minister of Finance said, "Let us act now to bring our country out of the potential into prosperity. Let each of us resolve to join together, to show kindness and collective resolve to take our country into this new era development truly as one people." The Ministry of Education has completed its diagnostic assessment of hinterland students as part of the emergency education intervention for improved performance in mathematics at the primary level. Details in this report.
Chief Education Officer Acting CEO Marcel Hudson says the primary level in the hinterland has the poorest performance in mathematics. The diagnostic assessment seeks to identify what measures are needed before training is implemented.
Let us see what it is that they know, and based upon what they know, we will determine the level of training and how deep we need to go in terms of their training, how deep we need to go in terms of the administration of that region, in terms of even the REDOs and the officers, what we need to do in terms of training them to supervise and to monitor the program.
The assessment has been completed, and educational officers are in the process of analyzing the data collected, Hudson says. The assessment is one intervention to address poor performance at the grade 6 examination level. Hudson says that other interventions include training of teachers in content and methodology.
What we have discovered in our supervisory visits and our monitoring visits, we have discovered that in some cases we find our teachers, they are not familiar with the content of the curriculum, and the methodology that may have been used may not have been the best, so to speak, because maths should be fun.
Hudson says teachers have been meeting for the last month across the country at fortnightly clusters to discuss how to effectively tackle problems encountered in relation to the content and methodology. Additionally, the Ministry of Education has submitted to the Ministry of Finance the cost for the acquisition of mathematics toolkits to make the subject more interactive.
A very large part, or a very expensive part, I should say, of the component has to do with the acquisition of materials such as mathematics toolkits and workbooks for our children to engage in practical activities.
These interventions are part of a holistic strategy by the Ministry of Education to address the poor performance in mathematics. Cabinet has approved $48.6 million for the implementation of the immediate phase for this plan. I am Sunil Williams with the Government News Brief.
Region 8 can expect better health services in 2017. Delicia Haynes has the details.
Director of Regional Health Services, Ministry of Public Health, Dr. K. Sheku, explains that plans to upgrade Region 8 health services is part of efforts to bridge gaps between health services provided in hinterland and coastland regions.
Region 8 is an area whereby we would have been doing a number of supervisory visits, and we would have been identifying the deficits within the area, right? And we would have been speaking to persons concerning how we're going to bridge the gap between both areas, hinterland and coastland areas. But remember, doctors would have been placed at various health centers in Region 8, right? In fact, almost all of the health centers in Region 8 has a doctor. But we will have to look at specialists for Region 8.
The Madhya District Hospital will be facilitated with modern equipment and amenities.
We would also want to provide the same services in Region 8 like we would have been doing for Region 1, 7, and 9. Now, one of the things about Region 8 is that Region 8, the hospital that is being earmarked to be a regional hospital, it needs a theater, right? And that theater, I think for next year, the Ministry of Health will be focusing on the construction of a theater there for Region 8.
There are several health huts, posts, and the Madhya Hospital that serve the region that is not highly populated. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
Leaders from 20 villages in the North Rupununi are seeking to protect the area's wetlands and, by extension, the fauna. Find out how from Isaiah Braffett.
Vice Chairman of the North Rupununi District Development Board, Michael William, says protecting the wetlands is critical to the survival of various species of animals.
North Rupununi is a particular place. This is a place where it is flooded rainy season time. This is a place where fishes come to spawn, where reptiles come to produce, where everything reproduces here in the North Rupununi. There's no other place as North Rupununi in Guyana, right? So it needs to be protected. A proper management system should be put in place.
While a management document has been created about 10 years ago, the Vice Chairman says that it is not yet a legal document. The NRDDB will be working along with the government to have Guyana sign onto the Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention is an international treaty for the conservation and sustainable use of wetlands.
So we're hoping with partners that we can be able to influence the government to say, yes, North Rupununi can be considered a Ramsar site because of these things. So we want to put things in place, a management system, certain guidelines, how do you use your resources, how do we, these are some of the things that we envision so that we can have the North Rupununi protected for us, for our younger generations to benefit as we have been benefiting.
Once the document becomes legal, it will be piloted by 4 villages in the North Rupununi and will provide guidelines for villages. Monitoring will be conducted for illegal activities as well. Isaiah Braffett for the Government News Brief.
Mabaruma could get a synthetic track as the regional administration intensifies efforts to provide infrastructure and equipment to ensure the development of sports in the district. Zanil Williams reports.
The Region 1 administration is answering Education Minister Dr. Rupert Roopnarain's call to have sports back in schools. Regional Education Officer Redo Nigel Richards says that the administration has begun working to ensure the schools in the district are equipped with sports equipment.
In Region 1, our focus is on developing a rounded student with a rounded personality. And that's the way to go. Last year we bought 60 pairs of running shoes so that our children, when they're participating in the national athletics, can have the necessary equipment to perform at that level.
This year, the regional administration supplied schools with gear for cricket, volleyball, and football. Investing in equipment also covers preparing grounds and tracks for the students.
We also have completed at the Northwest Secondary School what we call a student tarmac. One is currently under construction also at Port Kaituma Secondary and also at Santa Rosa Secondary. So there are lots of things planned.
Looking ahead, Richards says that the administration may soon be asking central government for support to construct an all-weather track in the district.
Right now, our focus is on developing a synthetic track. I hope within the next 2 to 3 years, we should be able to, I hope, with approval from Central Ministry, develop what you call a synthetic track so that our children will have that international standard at which athletes should be practicing.
Minister of Education has been talking about the need to recognize not only the importance of sports in schools but also music. The minister has pointed out that it has long been proven these extracurricular activities are complementary to academic pursuits, resulting in positive outcomes. More recently, a call was made by the minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Lowe, for regional officers to budget for sports in their regional budget as part of pushing sports development in the region. I am Zenil Williams for the Government News Brief.
Government is hopeful that the 10 regional democratic councils will aid the national effort to promote tourism. More from Gabriela Patram.
A call has been made for large-scale investments in the tourism sector. Minister of Business with responsibility for tourism, Dominique Gaskin, made this call while congratulating the awardees at the 9th Annual Awards Ceremony of the Ghana Tourism Authority, GTA, on Friday evening. Minister Gaskin notes that recognition is good and must be given at both the business and personal level. The minister adds that the tourism industry is only as good as the people that make it happen.
We are a country of 10 regions. Each one of our regions has its own unique features, and each of those regions has a product to develop. I'd like to see tourism become a permanent agenda item on the business of the individual regional councils.
Minister Gaskin says that once the regions get on board, tourism in Guyana will begin to bloom. Meanwhile, awards were presented in 8 categories. Entrepreneur of the Year was awarded to Chief Executive Officer of the Roraima Group of Companies, Captain Gerald Gavaya. The People's Choice Award for Responsible Tourism was awarded to Ira Kramer, while Tour Guide of the Year was copped by Wald Dyke Prince, Rewa Village. North Rupununi Region 9 won the Most Outstanding Community Tourism Project. Outstanding contribution to tourism by a non-governmental organization, NGO, or volunteer group was awarded to South Rupununi Conservation Society, SRCS. Cairo Lodge Hotel received the Service in Tourism Accommodation Establishment Award. For Service in Tourism Transportation, Obama Boat Service copped the award, while the Investment in Tourism prize was won by Palm Springs Hotel. Leroy Ignacio, who accepted the award for Outstanding Contribution to tourism by an NGO volunteer group, SRCS, says,
It's a real great pleasure to be here and an honor to be part of this awards ceremony. To the group, I say thanks because it's a lot of hard work, and to all our sponsors.
The award ceremony is part of the Tourism Month activities, which are being held under the theme Tourism for All, Building Partnerships for Tourism Development. For the Government News Brief, I'm Gabriela Patram.
We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GNews website. We encourage you to subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. You can also like us and follow us on Facebook to be updated as the news unfolds. Remember to join again tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Thank you for watching.